You're staring at a blinking cursor. 5 browser tabs open, none of them finished. Your knee is bouncing under the desk before you even notice it. Your phone buzzes and your hand jumps for it before you've decided to move at all. You've downloaded 3 focus apps this year, deleted all 3 by March. Somewhere under all that noise, a quieter question is sitting there, waiting. What if this exact restlessness once kept someone alive? That's not a throwaway line. It's a real argument, running through genetics and anthropology, that some add traits, maybe yours, weren't a flaw that needed fixing. They were built for a world that mostly disappeared 10,000 years ago. And the case for it is stranger and far more specific than a metaphor. It runs through actual genes, actual studies, actual named people. Here's where it starts. In 1993, a writer named Tom Hartman published a theory that reframed the whole diagnosis. He called it the hunter-farmer hypothesis. His pitch was simple. Humans spent nearly 300,000 years as hunter-gatherers, and only a sliver of that as settled farmers. A hunter's attention doesn't sit still. It scans wide, jumps fast between threats and openings, commits hard, then moves on before the moment closes. Sound familiar? That's your knee, bouncing under the desk. Farming rewards the opposite. Routine, patience, the same field, season after season, year after year. Now here's the complication. You're probably thinking that sounds like a tidy metaphor, not real science. Something to make a diagnosis feel better, not explain it. Except the genetics showed up before the metaphor even caught on. In 1996, a study led by Gerald Lahoste appeared in Molecular Psychiatry. It found something specific. Children diagnosed with ADHD were significantly more likely to carry one variant of a gene called DRD4, the 7 repeat allele. That gene shapes how the brain handles dopamine, the chemical behind reward and novelty. A blunted version of it means the brain needs more stimulation to feel satisfied. That wasn't folklore. That was a measurable genetic pattern sitting inside real families, published in a peer-reviewed journal. So the question shifted. Not is this trait real, but why would evolution keep it around at all? Turns out, the gene has a migration story attached to it. In 1999, researchers Chen, Burton, Greenberger, and Dmitrieva surveyed populations across the globe in the journal Evolution and Human Behavior. Groups with a history of longer, more recent migrations carried noticeably more of that 7 repeat variant, a pattern that held up across continents, not just one region. Even within the same regions, nomadic groups carried more of it than nearby settled farming neighbors. Not a coincidence, the researchers argued. A signature of selection, written straight into the genome. 3 years later, a 2002 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, led by Yuan Chun Ding, went further. It found direct genetic evidence. This exact allele had been positively selected, actively favored, not just carried along by chance. The timing lines up too. 40 to 50,000 years ago, right as humans were pushing into unfamiliar continents. Something about carrying it, in the right setting, made survival more likely, not less. But genetics on paper only gets you so far. The strongest evidence is living people, right now, still breathing. In 2008, anthropologist Dan Eisenberg and colleagues studied the Arial, a group in northern Kenya split by circumstance into 2 lifestyles. One branch still nomadic, one settled for about 35 years. Published in BMC Evolutionary Biology, the study compared body mass against DRD4 genotype. And the result is genuinely wild. It flips the whole story on its head. Nomadic men carrying the 7 repeat allele were healthier and better nourished than their peers. But settled men with that same allele were worse off. Thinner, more often malnourished. Same gene. Opposite outcome, depending entirely on the world it landed in. Now imagine, that's you. Eisenberg put it plainly at the time. Those same traits might help a nomadic teenager track livestock or find water fast, while working against him behind a desk or a shop counter. In other words, this was never really about a broken brain. It was about a mismatch between a brain and its surroundings. That's the mechanism worth walking away with. Researchers now call this general pattern evolutionary mismatch, a trait that was an asset in one environment becoming a liability in another, without the trait itself changing one bit. Not a disorder in isolation. A disorder relative to a specific room, a specific desk, a specific century. It's worth saying plainly, this isn't fully settled science. Many researchers stay cautious about drawing a straight line from one gene to a modern clinical diagnosis, and culture, parenting, and how ADHD gets defined today all tangle into the picture too. But the biology gives the mismatch idea real weight, not just a comforting story to tell yourself at 2 a.m. So think about your actual day. Open plan office. A notification every 90 seconds. Chair, screen, fluorescent light, repeat, forever. That's not a neutral environment. It might be one of the worst habitats ever built for a brain wired to scan wide, move fast, and chase something real. Comment below. When does your focus actually click? Outdoors, mid-deadline, mid-crisis, somewhere loud? That pattern might be the whole video, hiding inside your own week. Picture the hunter again, scanning the tree line, reading the wind, committing, fully, the second something moves. Now picture that same wiring, staring at a blinking cursor. You're staring at it right now. But maybe you're not broken, just a hunter stuck at a desk.